look at this. This is the global death rate from natural disasters from 1900 to 2010. Look at the decline that has occurred as a result of better spacecraft in orbit telling us when a monsoon or a tornado or a hurricane, whatever it might be, our ability to do disaster response, mobile networks supporting. Of course, we still have, disasters like tsunamis and so forth, which are so fast, they take lives, but this too will begin to decrease over time as we start to learn how to predict earthquakes from big data. This is automobile fatality rate and airline fatality rate. If you look at this, people who are, anybody here scared of flying? No, I run into people all the time. Just look at this data. And first of all, how we have taken the risk out of flying to such a dramatic degree. And yet when we talk about being afraid of flying, compared to, it's a much safer modality than cars on a per person, per mile basis. And of course, what's going to drive this to zero is going to be autonomous vehicles. Right? Autonomous vehicles will get us to a near perfect safety record in cars as well. Rate of non-fatal firearm crimes, a pretty fourfold reduction over the last 20 years. And part of this curve begins in 1993. Again, the notion that the internet makes you responsible for your actions, and it's not something that just happens someplace and doesn't get known anywhere else. We forget about the fact that during the Wild West and throughout the history of time, there were marauders who would come in and kill thousands of people and would never be known any part in the world. Today, the internet and CNN make sure you know about it instantly. Decline of global extreme poverty. We can see sort of the continuous projection from where we were in the early 1800s at 80 to 90%, down to 20%. The portion of undernourished people in the developing world, and I think we're going to see a huge dent made in this, to the work that Robert and others are doing about the importance of GMOs in feeding people. It's also going to be inventing how we provide micronutrients to kids and pregnant mothers, and how we, in fact, reinvent how we feed 9 billion people over and over again. I love this one. Check this out. This is farm jobs in the U.S. Right, so when we talk about loss of jobs, we forget that 2/3 of Americans 150 years ago were farmers, and now it's under 2%. Those jobs were dematerialized and demonetized to a great degree by technology, and now a much smaller people feed a much larger number of people. But even at the same time that the number of farm jobs, number of farmers, if you would, has this massive decline due to technology, this is our global food supply per capita has been increasing over time. So, I hope these sort of evidence of abundance slides have been useful for you. They sort of keep me grounded that the world has been getting better by many measures at an extraordinary rate. And again, it's not politicians, it's not that we've gotten smarter, it's the impact of the technology that we're talking about here, and new business models applying this technology to transform the world in areas that really matter, right? Because just to remind you, the world's biggest problems are the world's biggest business opportunities. And if you can solve these big problems, I like to say in bold, which you guys have a copy of, it's my recipe, my roadmap to entrepreneurs. The best way to become a billionaire is help 1 billion people. And the number of people helping solve problems is extraordinary. You can now stop complaining about problems and start solving problems.